What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with the Beginner Guitar Show for Happier by Olivia Rodrigo. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below what other songs by Olivia Rodrigo that you want to learn on guitar. Guys, the first thing you want to know to play Happier on guitar is that in order to get rid of some bar chords and keep this song as beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 6th fret. And if you don't have a capo, I'll link to get this capo right up here. The next thing we would usually go over for a song is the structure, but for Happier, we're actually going to repeat the same chord progression with the same picking patterns throughout the whole entire song. So you don't need to worry about the structure for this one. And the last thing that you want to know before we dive into Happier is the 4 chords that you need to play this song. The first one is C. The next one is A minor 7. The next one is D minor. And the last one is G7 suspended 2. I'll have short beginner chord tutorials for all of those linked in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And with all that in mind, guys, let's dive into Happier. Guys, Happier is one of those beautifully sad songs that I'm a total sucker for. It's a new song from Olivia Rodrigo's new album, and I've gotten so many requests for it. So I'm really stoked to share this one with you guys. So Happier is actually one of those songs that's based almost entirely on piano. If you're familiar with the song, you already know that. So what we're going to be doing with this song is we're going to basically break down exactly what's being played on piano. We're going to match it up and play it on guitar. And we're going to try to match up with that piano as closely as possible. And this song actually sounds pretty complicated, and it is a finger picking pattern. So if you're new to finger picking, this might be a little bit complicated for you. But it's actually a lot easier than it sounds because it's actually only one chord progression repeated through the whole song. And then we're just going to have a little finger picking pattern for each one of those chords. And then that will repeat through the entire song. So a lot easier to play than it sounds like it is. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the chord progression that repeats through the whole song. The chord progression we'll be playing through the whole song is just those 4 chords that I showed you in the beginning in that same order. So C, A minor 7, D minor, and then G7 sus 2. Repeated in that order throughout literally the whole entire song. Now, where it gets a little bit more tricky, again, is the finger picking. Now, if you're new to finger picking, this is going to be a little bit different. Don't be too intimidated, and you actually can use a pick if you're more comfortable with a pick. I much prefer finger picking, so if you're comfortable with it, I think it sounds a little better, and it's actually a little easier once you get the hang of it. So what we're going to be doing is we'll break this down chord by chord. We'll start with our C chord here. For our C chord, we're going to pick A, D, G, B, and then back to G, back to D. And we're going to repeat that picking pattern twice for our C chord. So we'll go A, D, G, B, G, D, A, D, G, B, G, D. Just like that, and then we'll move on to our A minor 7. That's our first chord there. So we go to A minor 7. We're actually, for our A minor 7, going to repeat that same exact picking pattern. So again, A, D, G, B, G, D, A, D, G, B, G, D. Just like that. So A, D, G, B, G, D twice for the A minor 7 as well. Once we go down to our D minor, we're going to switch to this different picking pattern here. So we're in our D minor now. For our D minor, we're going to go D, G, B, high E, B, G twice. So very similar feel and structure, but we're doing it on different strings. So again, D, G, B, E, B, G twice. D, G, B, E, B, G, D, G, B, E, B, G. Just like that. And then that's going to lead us into our last chord. And if you haven't noticed this already, if you're new to this chord, because it is a little bit of a different one, the G7 sus 2, a really easy way to transition from the D minor to the G7 sus 2 is just to take your middle finger off of the 2nd fret on the G string for your D minor and put it on the 3rd fret of the low E, which is a G note, and then keep the pointer finger on the 1st fret of the high E and the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B, just like you had in your D minor. And then all you have to do is move that one finger, and that's it. And then we got our picking pattern for our G7 sus 2, which is going to be low E, G, B, high E, B, G. Twice for that chord, that G7 sus 2. Same thing twice through that picking pattern, just like we've done with all the other chords. So E, G, B, E, B, G, E, G, B, E, B, G. Gosh, that's a tongue twister. But that's the idea, guys, is you got those 4 different picking patterns, or actually 3 different picking patterns, because the C and the A minor 7 use the same picking pattern. And you just have that 4-chord progression that repeats through the whole song with those picking patterns. So Sounds more complicated than it is, and if you're new to fingerpicking, this will still be a little bit tricky, but nothing too crazy here, guys. Really nothing too terribly complicated for a song like this. So let's combine all of that together and do a little walkthrough of that whole progression with those picking patterns, kind of guided and walked through together one more time. So we'll start with our C chord. C chord, we're going to go A, D, G, B, G, D, A, D, G, B, G, D. A minor 7, A, D, G, B, G, D, A, D, G, B, G, D. Then we go to D minor, D, G, B, E, B, G, D, G, B, E, B, G. Then we've got G7 sus2 with that easy transition I showed you. E, G, B, E, B, G, E, G, B, E, G, B. And that right there is just going to repeat through the whole entire song, start to finish. So guys, pretty straightforward here, but I'm going to play through that a couple of times really slowly so that you can make sure you have all the right stuff in all the right places. And then I'll play through it a couple times full speed so that you can match it up with the speed of the song. So slowly a couple times first through the chord progression and the picking patterns that are going to repeat all the way through Happier will look about like this without me talking. And guys, a couple of times full speed through the chord progression and the picking patterns that's going to repeat all the way through Happier by Olivia Rodrigo will look about like this without me talking. And guys, that is everything that you need to know to play Happier on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 850 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel, and I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new lessons every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there cannot be a more perfect channel for you to check out. If you want to catch a sneak peek of what song I'm working on next, be sure to hit up my Instagram at @thegroovyguitardude. And lastly guys, if you want to support the channel and get your name in the credits at the end of each new guitar tutorial, you can hit up my Patreon at patreon.com/thegroovyguitardude. Link for that will be in the description below as well. Guys, Happier is again one of those Olivia Rodrigo songs that I've gotten a ton of requests for. I've been meaning to do this song for a little bit, and I finally sat down with it the other day, and I totally get it. I get why you guys have been requesting it so much, because it's just one of those beautifully sad songs that I totally love. If you've been on this channel, you know I love those kind of songs, and I know you guys love those as well because you request them all the time. And I actually love songs like this as well that are piano-based songs, but we turn it into guitar. I actually love songs like this. Like Sarah Bareilles is actually one of my favorite musicians, and I love turning her piano-driven songs into guitar-based songs. And so anyways, this song is a great example of that because that piano piece that plays through the entire song is actually really perfectly translated over to guitar, playing it the way that we're playing it in this lesson. So a lot of fun, really beginner friendly. Even if this is your first finger picking song, I think it's still pretty beginner friendly. You'll try to you'll have some new techniques that you'll have to try to work on a little bit there if it's your first finger picking song, but the chords are all very, very beginner friendly. Even that G7 sus2 is beginner friendly, even though it has a kind of daunting name. It's still a beginner friendly chord. And then the picking patterns in here are nothing crazy either, and they're mostly just very repetitive. So again, guys, beautiful, beautiful song. As with any song like this, any finger picking song, and really any song in general, if you're having trouble with this, again, practice it really, really slow and just play it really slow, and then work on building up your speed once you get it down. That's the biggest tip I have for songs like this, is just start slow. Don't focus so much on speed first, focus on accuracy first, and then work on building up your speed as you get it down and you get more comfortable with it, and then you'll have it down in no time. So anyways, guys, I had a lot of fun learning this song. I hope you guys have a lot of fun learning it as well, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.